Okay, Rabbi say. Thank you. Who got me this? Yeah, yep. Good. Okay. Okay, let's get to work. Yes, it was a. I'm sure you searched like I did on Shabbos for different shilas. I'm sure you searched for shilas, just like I did over Shabbos. Maisa, so my grandson came for Shabbos, and you don't even know the end of the story. You know? And so he started to move around. The way the Rabbi does it is that he gives you a constant reason to keep him around. He's born, and the child is born, he's bald and toothless, and there's nothing really so exciting about him. And every time he says oh, he looks like this one, the person should really get insulted, if anything, right? And then, but that's a mitzvah that the Rabbi Shalom gave you the matana. So that itself gives the person a siba to, but then you have to do something. So he starts to open up his eyes. Once he opens up his eyes, then really, everyone gets excited. He opens his eyes. Then slowly he starts to pick up a hand. And if he's zeicha and everything is gesund, so he starts to roll. He does all types of things. Then, so Maisa, now he's holding by more of some type of movement, right? And he also takes things. He also grabs various different things and whatever. So this Shabbos, there was a crayon that was on the floor. He grabbed a crayon. No, what's the problem if he grabs a crayon? So there's a whole shaila if you're allowed to pick him up. We're going to learn that in Siman Shin Tes. When he's holding a crayon, you're allowed to pick him up. Not allowed. But the problem is that he was getting closer to the wall, and there he is. He's holding a crayon, and he's holding like a black crayon. There he is, and he's getting closer and closer to the wall. So what do you do? Are you allowed to take away the crayon? Right? You're allowed to take away the crayon. It's these kids, they have a grip. So what are you going to do? You're going to direct him that way. So he's going to crawl. He's going to find his way to the wall. So you're allowed to take the crayon away. What's a shaila? What's a crayon? A crayon l'chayra is a good example of a kli shemalachta l'isser. It's a kli shemalachta l'isser. It's a kli l'chayra. It's a kli. I think we'll all agree. Even though a crayon is something that gets used up, and I mentioned that maybe a kli is something that has a reusage. A kli is something that you could reuse. It's not something that just used one time. It's something that's used over again. Okay, but a crayon, the way they fashion a crayon, again, that technically a crayon is like a big bar of soap that just gets used up. I think everyone agrees that the tzura of how they made this crayon, it's a kli. It's something that gets reused, and it's a kli shemalachta l'yeser. It's a kli shemalachta l'yeser. No, so it's mutter to move kli shemalachta l'yeser for what? For tzarich gufa, tzarich mekayimai. What's not permitted? What's not permitted is to move a kli shemalachta l'yeser. The tzarich chamel etzel. What is chamel etzel? It's basically you're allowed to move it if you need the makom. You're allowed to move it if you need to use the crayon for a mutter dika purpose. Can anybody think of a mutter purpose for a crayon? Is any mutter dika purpose? What? A paperweight. Okay, we're gonna have to see. Maybe if a paperweight, if that's considered. Okay, we'll have to see. A doorstop. Okay, you guys are interesting people, but we'll see. We'll try to see ideas. So we're gonna have to figure out, is a kli shemalachta l'yeser that doesn't have any shima shavat. Okay, but let's say that we could, it's the kli shemalachta l'yeser. So if I need the place, I'd be able to move it. But what would be a good example if I needed the place? There it is on the floor. A crayon on the floor is a death trap. It's a dangerous thing for anybody. You don't have to be an old man like me. It's something you could slip on or whatever. So it's a klish machtel. It's ruining the makim. I want to pick it up and move it. Once it's in my hand, we learned already that I could go and I could put it back. It's klish machtel. It's tzarech gufay. Okay, it's maybe hard to find the tzarech gufay, but Bez Hashem. We'll try to think of one that's a tzarech gufay. Okay, but in the meantime, what would you not be allowed to do with that crayon? Let's say you want to save the crayon, right? For example, Zundel's about to take the crayon. He's about to throw it out the window or something, and then the crayon will be lost forever. That'll be the end of the crayon. So would you be allowed to save that crayon and take the crayon away from him? No, that would be a klish machdezer mechamel itzel. You're saving it. Chamel itzel is the way of saying it, that you're saving it for itself. What's the idea of saving an item for itself? Kipshutai, when you're saving it for itself, and it itself is a davar that the main function of it is to do iser. So then what are you doing? You're saving for the chayil. I mean, if you think about it in a more, advanced oifen. So what are you doing when you're saving the crayon? You're saving it for Tuesday, because what's the ikar function of a crayon? It's for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So that's what you're saving it for. So those are the two extremities. What about everything in between? You're not allowed to save her for chamel itself, for it itself. You're not allowed to save the crayon for it itself. You're allowed to move the crayon for a gufay and mekoymai. There's a lot of things in between. To go and be medayik, like I saw one sefer doing, it's like almost a waste of time. It's almost a waste of time. Nothing's mamish a waste of time, but it's almost a waste of time because the diyukim are stira, meaning everything in between. What if something is not tzarech gufa mekoymai? It's not gufa mekoymai. Mitzad sheni, it's also not chamil itzel. Right? What's a good example of this? What's a good example? I'll give you an example. Let's say Erev Shabbos, one of your children takes out all of the pots and pans, because I don't want to get involved. Let's assume that you hold pots, pans, they're all muksa. Let's say all the pots and pans, frying pans, all the things that are mamish muksa. No, and puts them on the floor. Again, we said pots are not the malachta liyas. Okay, but not everybody agrees with that. So now all the pots and pans are on the floor. But Lamaisa, they're not bothering everybody. They're not in a place where someone's going to fall. You just don't want the pots and pans out. You're not trying to save them mechamel itzel. You're not trying to save them. They're not going to hurt anybody. No one's going to trip over them. It's not mekoymai. So it's not tzarech gufay. It's not tzarech mekoymai. But it's not chamel itzel. It's like something in the middle, or more. Let's say you have something which is like embarrassing. You have something out, and it's a little bit embarrassing that this thing is out. It's on the, you don't need the malkim, but it's a little bit embarrassing. Okay, is that not? It's not chamel itzel. You're not saving it from getting ruined, because the idea is like this. What's the lumdis? Getting ruined shows that what's the idea of this kli? This kli is for Tuesday, like we keep saying. It's when you're saving the item, you're saving the hammer, like we spoke about from the angry looters. So what are you doing? You're taking the hammer. What are you doing when you're saving it? In essence, when you're saving something that's miyuchad for Sunday, so then you're doing something which is a Sunday thing, a Monday thing, a Tuesday thing. Mitzad sheni, chazal aser, mattered what? If you need it for today, I need the makim, I need the gufay. What about something in between where I'm not saving the item, right? So then, but mitzad sheni, it's not a tzarech gufa mekoymai dahainu, it's tzarech gufa mekoymai dafka. Is it dafka, or is it just an example of a tzarech Shabbos? That's the shaila. To go in medayik, like I saw one sefer, it's almost a waste of time, because you're going to say, well, it says over here it's got to be tzarech gufa mekoymai, so it's only tzarech gufa mekoymai. Yeah, but it also says it's only aser tzarech chamel itzel. So then it's only aser chamel itzel. Mashma everything else is mutter. Mashma tzarech gufa mekoymai, the only thing that's mutter. That mashma everything else is aser. So to be medayik, it's almost a waste of time. Almost. We'll see. Maybe not. Slow. Just started. Right? What's the biggest nafkamina that we could talk about right now? So right now, this little fellow, he's holding a crayon. But what's he doing? Why do we want to tackle him by the 50-yard line? Well, because we want to save the wall. What's saving a wall? Saving a wall is not a Tuesday thing. If we had to go into the lumdis, we would say chamel itzel is saving something, saving the item. It's misyaches to the item. That's how we'll say it. So it's misyaches to the item. So that's a klish machtel yeser, which is not mutter when you're trying to save it for the item. It should go into the parsha of gufa mekoymai, but mitzad sheni, it's not a gufa. It's not goof of the kli. We're not using the kli. Maybe Chazal, when they mattered, they said tzarech gufay, to take the crayon and to scratch it back with it. Well, it could be a normal case. It's hard to think of a normal case. Nobody has a normal case, right? No one, because maybe there is no normal case. That could be, right? He wants to take the crayon. You have a what? Keep a what? To keep the line of the Gemara. He wants to keep the line of the Gemara. That's not normal. You're trying though, right? That should give you for trying at least. Okay, he's trying. No, it's like totally not normal. He's going to get the thing there. People look at the guy's about to write. There's got to think. There got to be something. No, nobody can think of anything. Well, so I'll tell you what happened. My daughter Taka came over and she grabbed the crayon out of his hand, right? And she's yelling at him, Muksa. A little shake it, Muksa, right? So I asked Damakash, why is the crayon over here? Why is it over here? So there seems to be, there's a game over there, right? And in the game, it has like one of these like things that go around. I can't explain it, like these little spinner things, right? And the spinner broke, so they were using that thing to be a spinner. They were using the thing to spin. Am I explaining myself correct? Understand? You understand? You like spin. That's how it goes with these games. And they would put the thing there instead of the piece that they had to spin. They put that there and it's fun. So there are things that you could do with it, right? So, so it's a klisha malachta lieser that she wants to use l'tzarech gufay. She wants to put in there a comment that he has it, the muksa little shagets, right? But then when, but there is a tzarech gufay. But this isn't tzarech gufay. It's not tzarech mekoyma. No one's going to trip over it. And it's not Chamal itself. It's not trying to save the life of this crayon. So how do you don such a thing? Klisha malachta li'isr, l'tzarech, give me a name for it. L'tzarech acher. Not l'tzarech chayfetz, but l'tzarech shimash ha'adam. But it's not even shimash ha'adam because it's not something positive. It's not the pshat. It's staring. It's making sure that we don't get stared. It's like something like a shlili to preventative. How do you do such a thing? Does anybody want to say misvara? You could say misvara. What? You say it's mekoymai. Why? Yeah. Not pasha, but here, anyways, what's it ruining? It's again, the makim you want to say is ruined is that I can't, let's say I can't have this here because someone will trip, even if I'm not walking there now. Versteht sich if I'm walking there now, avada it's a makoymai. And versteht sich if I need to place something down, avada it's a makoymai. And versteht sich if it's blocking me, avada it's makoymai. So we could extend that to, let's say, let's go further. Let's say, let's say a fan. Let's say I have a fan and a fan is blowing on me. The fan is blowing. Let's go like this. You have a fan, a regular fan, right? And you want the fan on you. Why do you want the fan on you? Because you want to feel the cool. So to turn the fan towards you, what's that called? It's a cliche. Let's assume a fan is a cliche malachta l'isser. There's right about this. But let's assume that since you have to do an isser to turn her on, so therefore it's a cliche malachta l'isser. Okay, so it's a cliche malachta l'isser. And now when I'm turning it toward me, what's that? That's tzarech what? Tzarech what? Tzarech what? Gufay, because I'm using the fan. I want to use the fan. So I'm using it for a mutatika purpose to blow on me. Okay, let's say it's bothering me. I'm sitting over here and I don't want the fan blowing on me. It's blowing in my ears and dust. So what do? You turn it away from you. What's that called? So I can extend that's called mekoymai. I can extend that. You know why? Because it's actually ruining the place right now. There's a bepoil right now that it's ruining the place right now. To go and extend this and say that it's going to ruin the wall, that the wall's going to have an ugly picture on it, it doesn't ruin the market. It'll ruin the wall, right? It's true. It's going to make the room ugly, etc. It doesn't make the room unlivable. It doesn't make the room. It's a very tall extension. I think you'd have to have a license to do such a thing, and it should be taken away. Because I don't think that's not called tzarech mekoymai. That's not tzarech gufay. But what is it? It's a tzarech ha'adam, but it's not a positive tzarech ha'adam. What is this thing? Sorry? I don't know, because everything I do is I'm a tzaddik. I'm a seagull. I don't know how many times I have to tell you. It's been me a long time already. I'm a tzaddik. Everything I do is for tzarech Shabbos. Everything I do is a mitzvah. Everything I do is tzarech Shabbos. I don't know. Do you know what's going to happen with me if my hammer gets taken by the looters? It's going to ruin my whole Shabbos, right? But no one's going to be make on that. If I still place with these things, it's got to be more fleishiks. It's not as guidance, let's say. I don't think so. What? No, eitzes. Don't bring the eitzes. Official, you're causing trouble. It's already sun. What? Interesting. I need the makim of his hand, right? So I have to put the pacifier in his hand. It's not bad. What? Interesting. It's just not, what? Oh no, the shalom bayis stuff. And I got to take out my violin again. Oh no. Didn't I throw you out? I didn't throw you out. I never threw you out once. Okay, but you're getting close. Shalom bayis.
Isn't it the same thing like the ladder? The ladder, you're using it to
No, there I'm doing something positive. It's a positive usage. Here, it's a memtach lavek from the Yingol.
You have a ladder that you only use for building, right?
Yeah.
In case where you have a ladder that you only do in muktzah.
Yeah.
So what's the ladder? The ladder is a keli that enables you to do muktzah.
Correct.
This is a keli that enables him to draw.
It's for sure Kli Shemach Liyaser. We're not discussing if it's Kli Shemach Liyaser. We're discussing, is it called Tzarech HaMokim, is it Tzarech HaGuf? It's neither. It's not Tzarech Guf, it's not Tzarech Mokim, it's not Chama, it's not Sel. So what is it?
It's not either Tzarech Mokim.
What? Of course it is. I'm using the hammer to go and to crack a coconut. That's a Tzarech Gufa.
That's not the ladder.
The ladder, if I'm... No, the ladder Nidin was something else. We were trying to figure out if the ladder was a Kli Shemach Liyaser. We're different Nidin now.
What would you say in the case of a ladder? Because a ladder, you're not...
Let's keep it. Let's keep it. I don't want to confuse the other. Let's keep it with this case. The Kitzer, this is the shot. So Slamaisa, if I had to call it something, I won't call it that. But Cooper, he wants to start with me. I know what's going on over there. Right? He says, why can't you call it Tzarech Shabbos? Right? Why can't you call it Tzarech Shabbos? What does he mean? Now, is it a Tzarech Shabbos? Is it a Tzarech Shabbos? I don't know why Rabbi Cooper is calling this a Tzarech Shabbos. All right. What makes it Tzarech Shabbos? It's a Tzarech Shabbos Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You big tzaddik that all you think about is Shabbos. You're telling me if the kid would have the crayon on Sunday, you'd be thinking it's a Tzarech Shabbos. You're too much al titzdak harbe. Al titzdak harbe. No, I know what's going on over here. I would say it's a tzarech of the wall, right? And then let me explain to you what the issue is here. Because my Falk Zekel Sadik Levroche in his Sefer Machzaliyo in the 46th Siman, he has a very nice siman, a very nice shtickle, where he dons a different shaila, somewhat of a different shaila. He wants to don, what's a din if you have something which is not tzarech, it sounds familiar, the shaila, right? It's not tzarech gufay, it's not tzarech mekoymai, but it's a tzarech Shabbos. It's a tzarech Shabbos. Like, what would be a good example? It's not tzarech gufay, it's not tzarech mekoymai, and it's not chamel itself. It's not for the purpose of the item itself. Here, I could hear maybe a little bit more that, like the case of the pots and pans. Let's say the pans, okay? All the muktzah stuff got taken out, and it's not bothering anybody and whatever. So now, what's that? Why do you want to put that away? You want to put it away? So first of all, you could come along and say, what do you mean on a Tuesday? I also want to put it away. Okay, but let's say, on a Tuesday, Yitaka wouldn't care so much. But now it's like, mamach, it's ruining the whole ambiance of Shabbos. Zikr bothers you, and it bothers you. Why? It bothers you because you see the muksa. It's like it's all the muksa the kazak, and it's like you don't want to see this on Shabbos. So then I could start hearing that's not tzarech gufay, it's not tzarech mekoymai, and it's also not chama, and it's also not sel. It's something in the middle. What is it? It's tzarech Shabbos. It's a tzarech of the tzur of Shabbos. Now someone aggressive, I understand that you're going to come and tell me it's a mekoymai. It's a mekoymai. Maybe, and there I can't be as aggressive against you on this one because they're talking. Maybe it is ruining the market. Okay. But let's say we can't apply that svara. All these things we're going to talk about, obviously, right? But Lamaisa, this is a big shaila. So he dons over there. So again, there are many cases. Something that's not a gufay, it's not a mekoymai, it's not a chama, it's not a tzel. It's a tzarech Shabbos. How do you don this? So he brings very conclusive rayas, very nice rayas. He brings rayas there. I mentioned to you the Meiri. He has a sefer of the Rishonim, the Hashlama, all the Rishonim. I mentioned some of these Rishonim. He says, what's the whole vart that Chazal answered? The klisha malachta the iser the tzarech gufay mekoymai. What's the word that Chazal answered it? Excuse me, that they matter tzarech gufay mekoymai and that they answered chamel itzel. So he says al derech what we're saying right now, and he says, listen, chamel itzel is tzarech chayil. Gufay umekoymai lashon of the Rishonim is tzarech Shabbos. So he says, look, that's what do you want? You can't. It's black and white, black on white. You have it's saying what's the iser. Chazal asked the idea. The lumdus is like this. The lumdus is real muksa. Chazal said it's out. Kitzur das, you can't move it. Not tzarech gufay, not tzarech mekoymai. If it's in your hand, you have to drop it. It's out. It's out. Klishim lachli iser works differently. Klishim lachli iser, we say that because of the gzeres kelim, whatever the word is. But Chazal now said if you're using it l'tzarech Shabbos, it's within the realm of kelim that's within your das. If you're using it for a tzarech of Shabbos, if you're not using it for tzarech Shabbos, dahainu, you're trying to save her life. So what's that? Why do I save the life of a hammer? A hammer, the usage, the miyuchadkeit, the miyuchadikkeit of a hammer is for Tuesday, is for Wednesday. That's what the chefts of the usage of it is. So it's called a tzarech chayil. So tzarech chayil is out. Tzarech Shabbos is in. So he says, so now you see from here that gufay umekoymai were just examples from the lumdus. Not from the yukim, not from the yukim. I saw one sefer he makes from the yukim, but there's no the yukim. So it's not from Diyukim, it's from the Lumdis. The Lumdis is that Chazal said, Kli Shemlachtal Yisr is within your das for usages of Shabbos, as if to say like this. A hammer is out of your brains when it's for what? To go and do an Isser with, to save its life, which is miyuchid for Sunday through Friday, right? But to go and save the hammer, but to go and use the hammer for it's Tzarech Shabbos, it's within your Ksaz Das. So when we say Tzarech Gufa Mekoymai, Rabbi Falk says, with his great koyach, he says it's lekula. It's lekula. It's taker. Always mutter whenever you're doing with tzarech of Shabbos. Whatever goes into tzarech Shabbos is now going to be mutter. But you don't know. The point is, you don't have to be. You could be a little bit more creative. You could be a little bit more creative. Now, let's go in order. Would that mean that Rav Falk, for example, in his, I'm not saying what we hold yet, but let's feed that Havana. Would he be makel to take a crayon out of the child's hand because the child is about to draw on the wall, and that's a tzarech of the Shabbos? So I don't know. What do you say? No, Rabbi Shah, what do you say? He says maybe. He says maybe. Right? Who says yeah? Who says yeah? Who says no? Who says no? Who says I don't know? I don't know. When you're making sure that the crayon doesn't go on the wall, I don't know. That's a tzarech. You know what that is? That's a tzarech shragi. You're not all shragi. Right? You're not all shagi, but in my house, you'd be doing it for me. So it would be a tzarech shagi or be a tzarech the Rebbe, because she cares probably more than I do. But it'd be a tzarech. So what is that? That's a tzarech shab. So is that also mutter? Maybe. I'm not convinced. I don't know. Tzarech whatever. Sorry. It's not a tzarech Shabbos, right? So he's saying, so maybe the only time it's a problem is when it's a tzarech. Why not? Maybe it's a tzarech. What are roiv days of the week? Weekdays or Shabbos? Let's see, who knows? What? Maybe Roiv days, I don't know. Maybe Roiv days of the week, it's weekdays. So I don't know, maybe it's a tzarech of the weekdays. You say, no, come on, it doesn't work like that. What did Haman HaRasha say? Haman HaRasha said Shabbos Hayoim, Pesach Hayoim, the Yom Tovim Hayoim. They're always saying it's Yantiv, these guys. What? No, that's what can I tell you, Rabbi Schwabi? You're opening up my wrath. He says, what do you mean? So then in Cain, why didn't the Mechaber just say, Tzarech Shabbos is mutter, right? So I'll ask you then, why by Chamel itself? Didn't he just say, Tzarech Vach is also? It's you're out. What? Out. Sorry? I don't know. What? 100%. Okay, you're saying it's not a tzarech Shabbos. Okay, you want to fight with them? What do you want from me? What? You go fight with them. What do you want from me? What? Go fight with them. I don't fight with anybody. What? So that means what? Okay, but then what about, but he says Chamel tells Aser, no? That's why I say Chamel tells Aser. He should have said a lot of things are Aser, not just Chamel tell. Right? He's only afraid of the angry looters. Why is it? Okay. Yeah, it is back. All right, back. You guys hear me again? Okay. Akapanim. So it's a big shayla. Like I said, in my youth, I used to be matcha the rayas. I'll tell you, I'm a little bit not convinced now. I'll tell you what his rayas are. He has one raya from, the Gemara says, if there's an animal that has kalim shemlach. It's the Gemara at the end of Masechta Shabbos. The Gemara says if there's an animal that has kalim shemlach li iser on the back of the animal, right? There's the animal and he has kalim shemlach li iser on his back, and the Gemara says that are you allowed to move these kalim off of his back? Gemara is talking about like these hakazas adam kalim, whatever. Let's say you have your toolbox on the back of your donkey. Okay, so you're allowed to take the toolbox off the back of your donkey, right? Yeah, sorry. What? The animal has the toolbox on its back. Are you allowed to take the toolbox off the back of the animal? So the Gemara says, the Gemara is complicated. Let's leave it. The Rishonim ask a kasha. The Gemara is dining mitzad tzar b'lichayim, whatever this. So the Rishonim ask a kasha. Why shouldn't I be able to take the toolbox off the back of the animal? Because it's a tzarech mekoymoi. The tzarech of the So the Rishonim say, very simple, because you're not sitting on the animal's back. Very simple teretz. We're not coming to sit on the animal's back. What are you coming to do? You're coming to save the animal. Something like that. So the kasha is, what do you mean? Saving an animal, let's think about this for a minute. What are you doing when you're saving an animal? What are you doing? You're saving an animal from pain. What's pain? Pain is now. Pain is now. What's the mitzias of pain? Pain is right now. The animal's in pain. So what's that called? That's called tzarech of Shabbos. What do I mean Shabbos? Something that's taking place on Shabbos. Right? The pain of the animal is something that's taking place right now. It's true, it's not Chamel itself. It's not saving the animal from being destroyed. It doesn't say that the animal is going to be destroyed. And it says over there that it's not, I'm not doing something positive that I need the back to sit on, or I don't need the makim, I don't need the gufay, I'm not trying to use the kalim, I'm not trying to use the tools, etc. But l'maisa, it's something in the middle, right? It's something that's not gufay and it's not mekayim. So okay, so is this a kasha against Rafalk? Is this a kasha against Rafalk? What do you say? Rafalk said, is it a kasha? Rafalk says that the pshat is anything that's in the middle that's called the tzarech Shabbos is mutter. Is this a kasha against Rafalk? I saw one sefer that said this is a kasha against Rafalk. It's a sefer that says my name in it. It's a sefer that wrote up the shir and says, I said this is a kasha against Rafalk. In other words, here you have a raya of something that's a tzarech, not of the chamel itself, but it's not gufa mekaymai. Yet afal pike, the Rishonim, they say, no, it's not called tzarech mekaymai. Who cares? If you need tzarech mekaymai kipshutai, in other words, you need an actual tzarech makim. You need the makim. You need the positive the makim or positive the guf. And it's not enough that it's a tzarech, which is not chamel itself. So then who cares? What do I care that this animal is I'm not going to be sitting on his back. Who cares that I'm not going to be sitting on his back? But I'm doing something which is a need for me right now. What do you say? It's a kasha? It's a tzarech tzar b'lechaim. I'm doing something for right now. If I'm doing for something of right now, Falk is telling us it's what. Maisa, I'm not convinced this is at all kasha, because in essence, what is the ikr function of a farm animal? Right? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's the ikr function when you're misyaches. The question I would say is like this: is it misyaches to the muksa? If it's misyaches to the muksa, I would change the chakir a little bit. If it's misyaches to the muksa, that what you're doing, that is not a heter. Tzarech means tzarech of the davar muksa. Now, there's a few ways you can have a tzarech of the davar muksa. One way is the tzarech of the davar muksa is I'm saving the muksa's life so that I could use it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Another thing is that if it would be tzarech of the davar muksa itself, even though it's the davar muksa is in pain right now or whatever, but who cares? It's misyaches to the muksa. When it's misyaches to the muksa, that much I can hear that everyone's going to agree. If you're doing something for the muksa, that's already not going to be mutter. We all agree it's not something for Shabbos. It's not something that we're using the muksa to give us for Shabbos. That's l'chayr how to get out of this. But I don't know. I'm a little bit navoich here. I'll tell you why. Example. I saw that the Paiskim all discuss. We're going to see these cases more barichas. Right now, we're talking a little bit more for the Chakirish, but they talk about tefillin and tefillin that fell on the floor. Okay, tefillin that fell on the floor. There's a whole shaila of tefillin on muksa, because tefillin is something that you only wear on a weekday. It's a ganze shaila. The Paiskim of tefillin on muksa, the non-muksa, we take on that you're supposed to be machmir, whatever. But what happens to tefillin chalila? They're on the floor. The tefillin on the floor. So then the Mishabura says you're allowed to pick up the tefillin. Why? Because it says it's in the Mishabura, because it's a makim of bizayin kisvei kodesh. So b'makim bizayin kisvei kodesh, like we lifted the rules. It's like a special dispensation, to not be a bizayin of the tefillin. So you're allowed to pick up the tefillin because of bizayin kisvei kodesh. That's what he says over there. No, why can't I say it's a kli shemalachta the iser l'tzarich bizayin kisvei kodesh? In other words, the way the Mishabura says is not like that. He says there's a special heter which knocked out the Isser of Muksa. That a special heter knocked out the Isser of Muksa. Right? I don't have to make a special heter. I could say Klisha Malachta the Isser is mutter l'tzarich wa l'tzarich gufa l'tzarich mekaymai tzrachim of Shabbos. That's Klisha Malachta the Isser is mutter whenever you have it. So I tell you, the tzarich of bizayin kitzvei kodesh. Why is that not a tzarich? A tzarich of a bizayin kitzvei kodesh. A tzarich of not coming lidei bizayin. That should also be a tzarich. Right? What do you say to that, Ryan? What do you say about that, Ryan? It's all shy. Let's see the feed that side. It's a big fight. What? Yeah, because you're not allowed to wear tefillin on Shabbos. Yeah, it's an issue. Yeah, we're gonna see. But what? I'm not sure. Right? I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe that's misyaches to the muksa again. No, Rabbi Shved Yerim saying that's misyaches to the muksa. The muksa is kisvei kodesh. Ani mamin b'munah shleima that the muksa is the tefillin is a klishmach des. So now I'm saving it for the sake of the wa of the tefillin. That's misyaches to the davar muksa. In other words, we're coming out what he's saying. It could be everyone agrees that there's never going to be a heter of klishmach isser when you're doing it for the davar muksa, whether you're doing it for the davar muksa mitzad the tzar b'lichayim of the muksa, whether you're doing it for the davar muksa if you're doing it so that you could use the hammer on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that you're saving the muksa, or maybe that you're doing it so that it shouldn't be mevaza the muksa, that the muksa itself shouldn't be nizbaza. Yeah, I understand what I'm saying? Everybody's saying, I'm not convinced. There's another raya. Should I tell you one more raya? Then we'll go to cases. They talk about a case like this. They talk about this one, the shtikl raya. This one's a shtikl raya. Mishabura in the beginning of the Zman, no? Mishabura talks about a cholent pot. Now, those days, the pots were dreadful. They were all cheres, and they smelled, and they were dreadful, right? So the Mishabura says like this. He says, where's Mishabura? He says, sometimes you can have a pot. I don't remember what Mishabura is, but I know there is a Mishabura like that. He says, sometimes the pot smells so bad and you want to move it. Why do you want to move it? Where's the Mishabura? Yeah, where is she? There, it's right, the wrong one. Okay. So he says, there you are, you have this pot. Now, in those days, it's not like our pots. Our pots don't smell like a ferlich, and like you see the pot, you go, oh, right? I met this bebayis. Right? Rabbi said, it's a bit of an echo. You're allowed to move this pot if it smells. Why? Rabbi said, tell me why you're allowed to move this pot. It smells geferlich, you're allowed to move this pot. Or it's gross, it's terrible. You're allowed to move this pot. Why are you allowed to move this pot? What? Graf Shel Rei. You guys are big geoinim and Talmidei Chachamim. I don't know Graf Shel Rei yet. Graf Shel Rei is the Kula. I don't know Graf Shel Rei. I just started learning Shin Ches. I'm up to Sif Dalet. I don't know from Graf Shel Rei. And also, you know what? Nusi, Avia Ben, you know what Graf Shel Rei is? Avia Bas. Yeah? You know what the Graf Shel Rei is, the example of the Gemara? The example of the Gemara is, der kickt da rein in the diaper, verstehst? Ja? Mit Soja, mit Ki, mit alle gute Sachen und das, ja? And that's the example of Graf Shel Rei. Your cholent pot is Soja and Ki. Ich meine, welche Shiva erst man do? What are you eating? Right? What's Soja and Ki? Like, this is a real stretch of the rules of Graf Shel Rei. I have Emunah, just a moment. I have Emunah, I know that's the problem here. I have Emunah that the Mishabura has the koyach to make such an extension and tell me that not only is Graf Shel Rei a bedpan and whatever, but other things that make people uneasy. Okay, but why do I have to come on to Chidushim? Why should I come on to Chidushim? Why didn't the Mishabura just say, I'll tell you why you can move the pot? Because it's gross. You just look at it. It's mitzias there generates an uncomfortable feeling inside the room, inside the kitchen. So I'll tell you why I'm moving it. It's a klishim lachla yeser that I'm moving l'tzayrech the Shabbos. Now, what? The Shabbos. I'm moving it to Shabbos. I'm not moving it for the pot at all. Here you're going to get a little stuff. I'm not moving it for the pot at all. Okay? I'm not moving it for the pot. I'm not moving it to use the pot. I'm not moving it for its makim. I'm just moving it because you don't want to have it here. So what's that called? That's called for Shabbos day. I'm moving it for Shabbos. So if you're a falk, why do you have to come on to the heter of Graf Shel Rei? Why can't you just say the reason why I'm moving? Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Why do you have to say what? You understand what I'm saying? And here, Rabbi Lieberman, it's not going to help us to say it's misyaches to the pot. There's nothing about the pot which is the siba that I'm moving the pot. In other words, again, till now I can understand that a klishim lachla yesterday you're allowed to move tzarkufai, mekaimai, other things, as long as it's not something which is misyaches called kulai to the muksa, because of the bizoyin of the muksa, because of the chamel itself to save it from the looters, because of the animal's back is hurting, which is something which is miyuched, it's an animal, it's for it itself, the muksa. Now, what are you going to do? I'm moving the pot for what? Not for the pot. I'm moving the pot for what? Oh, so wait 1 second. You're asking another question. 1 second, but you're not answering my question. You Jew, you're not answering my question. What's the answer to my question? Us? God, I don't know if it smells. I must tell you, I made up it smells. Mishabura doesn't say it smells. Mishabura says over here it's a grafshal ray because its mitzias is like it's a bit gross. You don't want it there. I made up the fact that it smells. And I'm a first in the Mishabura it smells. Right? So I want to tell you what Rabbi Yodekin is doing over here. He's saying, what? You have a kasha on Rav Falk? That's a good kasha. This is why I've changed a little bit my answer. He says that's a kasha on Rav Falk. What? And it's not a kasha on you, Kallus. Right? Whereas Gemara is like, right? It's a kasha on me also, right? And what? And lefi what we were marchiv the gvul of tzarich mekoyma. So you do understand the Mishabura. So you do understand the Mishabura. Mishabura tells us over here that klishim lachla yes is mutter tzarich mekoyma. I told you tzarich mekoyma. For example, the place can say a case of where, let's say, in the room. There's, let's say tefillin. Let's say it's tefillin in the room. And you can't have tashmish in the room when there's tefillin in the room. So let's say tefillin is a klishim lachla yeser. I don't want to get involved now in that. Each one of the things we're going to talk about, we'll talk about them. It's Hashem. When we get to each product, we'll get there. But let's say tefillin are in the room, you can't have tashmish in the room. So you want to take the tefillin out in order to have tashmish. So there's, I think it's Shmir Shabbos brings a sefer. I think it was a Yam Yisachar. It's not like a common sefer, but I'm saying it's somebody big that the Shmir Shabbos brings. Shlomo Zman brought it. That you see from that you're allowed to take the tefillin and move it out. Why? Because this room is ruined. Why is the room ruined? Because it's a room that you can't have tashmish in, right? He says that goes into klishim lachta the iser l'tzarich the makim. The makim was ruined. I gave you the example. The fan, says Rabbi Dakin, is ruining the makim. Right now the fan is blowing on me. It's driving me crazy. So I push it away, and now I saved the makim. So he says, no. So why on you is there not a kasha? So say this. So Mishabur, no matter what is a pella. Mishabur says when you have a pot. You're allowed to move it. Why? He holds the pot as a klishim lachla yeser. At least in his days, the pots were klishim lachla yesers. So now, why are you allowed to move that pot? So the Mishabur says, you're allowed to move it because it's gefährlich. It's a stinksach, gefährlich. And das is a klishim lachla yeser. No, this is grafshal ray. Special heter. First off, coming to a special heter. Why do you have to come on to special heter? Just say, I can move the pot. Because you're right, it's not chamel itself, but it's tzarich mekoymai. Obviously, if there's a grafshal ray in here, it's ruining the makim. I'm not even sure if it does smell. If it doesn't smell, it's gross. It's certainly ruining the makim. Now, you could start being mechalik. You can start being mechalik. And you say, look, a tefillin in the room makes the room not shayich to have tashmish. So it makes it that it breaks the room. When one wants to have tashmish in the room is broken, right? That's you could say more. That's one of the ikka function of the bedroom. So therefore, it's breaking the room right now. You're breaking the room, and you could say by the fan. So then this area right now, it's not shaykh to be in this area right now, right? But if you're going to get into that, then you have to figure out what level of mafunik he is. You have to start figuring out. Maybe by him having this cholin pot in the room is azay geferlich. It's like the fan is blowing in the area and ruining the room. So, Rabbi Shai, you have to figure out always how much of a mafunik the fellow is before you dan. Is this considered? So why do I have to come on to special heter of Grafshal Rei? This is my shaila, right? So you know what? So I was thinking, I don't know. I was thinking, should I tell, like the Chassidim say, like sometimes, like I'll say a vart, but derech tzachus. Not like, Meine Shizugin as das the Emes of Shah. But like, I don't know, it could be they mean it's the Emes of Shah when they say it. I don't know. But, like Meine Raya Ladover, like the Charem is Ladover. Should I tell you like what I was thinking, or I shouldn't even say it? What do you say? Chassid Shetayr? Can you Okay. So this is like Chassid Shetayr in the Sefer Chafetz Chaim. The first time I've done this ever. Right? I've never did this ever in my life, and hopefully never again. Right? But the Bir Lacha says like this. He says, Mikol Makam Nira, the Avkishi Pinua Mitavshal, Metavekenem, the meat and whatever, very medes, bebayis, and it's sitting over there in your kitchen, Mutter l'talta l'salik l'tzad chutz. Kenas avek, you can take it out. Why? To have a kigraf shalrei. Why did he say it's a graf shalrei? Why does he say kigraf shalrei? Why does he say? Maybe it means like this. Maybe it means to have a kigraf shalrei. Maybe it means that it's like, he doesn't mean like the heter of graf shalrei. He means because it smells. But it's not really a graf shalrei. Like I asked before, I asked the big catch on the Mishnah Berurah. How could the Mishnah Berurah compare? Graf shalrei is a heter that when you have soya and a diaper, you're allowed to take it out because of covered up brias and whatever. How could you compare that to a pot? I don't know what you guys are cooking, right? But how could you compare that to a pot that it so smells and so geferlich, it's like a diaper? So maybe what the Mishnah Berurah is answering up both their kashas. Maybe what the Mishnah Berurah means about that's not the real heter of graf shalrei, that you could take it because it smells so bad, it's like that. Maybe he means because it's not like the heter of graf shalrei. Maybe it's like something that smells, and the heter is tzarich mekaymai. But this is not emes. It's not emes. If you know the style of the Mishnah Berurah, it's not emes. But I don't know. Like that. So the Vaila, I'm leaving you with the Shaila. And Mr. Hashem, we're going to come back. This rayas as we go along. That's why I want to do it like this. As we go along. I'm not 100% convinced that Rafalk is right. And I'm also not 100% convinced he's wrong. I just wonder if we'll be able, at least one thing, to be a lot more large when it comes to the shaila of what's called mekoymai. If something is ruining the makom, maybe. The big nafkamina of this, I'm still not sure. I don't know if Rafalk would matter the case of the crayon. I don't know. I don't know if the case of the crayon, Rafalk would let us take it out of the kid's hand. Because like I said, even according to Rafalk, I thought that it's not called chamel itself, maskim, right? But I don't know if that's called tzarich Shabbos. I'm not convinced. According to what we're saying, that you have to be maybe within the realm of a tzarich mekoymai, it's certainly not tzarich mekoymai. I don't believe that's ruining the makom. That's already too far, right? But what is it? It's a tzarich of me. See, so I found something else. I found this in Aruch HaShulchan. He explains, what does the word gufay mean? Does anybody know here what it means? Klish malach le'isa le'tzarich gufay. Whose gufay is it? So I am a simple Jew. I have a Mishnah Berurah. Mishnah Berurah, and you've got Dalid, and you've got Lamed Dalid. Mishnah Berurah says, Hainu sarich leguf hadover. What does gufay mean? Mekoymai we're playing with today, right? What's gufay? Gufay means I need the guf hadover l'melacha acheres. What does that mean? I need the hammer, the guf hadover, to go and open up a coconut. I need the guf hadover for something else, right? So according to the Mishnah Berurah, we don't have much leeway. You need the goof of the item. You know what the Aruch HaShulchan says? He says, you know what Sarah Gufa means? Gufa shaladam. Gufa, it means shragi. You guys aren't shragi. So whoever you are, right? It means Gufa shal you. The word Gufa, they're having a pashib shat machlekes. And Rashi Garda says like the Mishnah Berurah. But he says, Gufa, the Aruch HaShulchan says, he says, Sarah shal Gufa shal shragi. Whenever I'm using the hammer to open up a coconut, what's the lumdis? Sarich gufay. I'm allowed to open the coconut because I need the coconut, because I need the hammer to open the coconut. It's mamish pashim shat machlekes. The Peldik Gemaisa, like have such a simple machlekes that made it all the way to Radin and Vardik circa 1900. It's like a very, very far down. I don't know. According to the Aruch HaShulchan, I'm taking the crayon away for tzarich of me. No, but maybe even the Aruch HaShulchan requires a positive tzarich. Still not clear. Where would be the nafkamina? Not so clear. So I'm leaving this somewhat shver. Okay, we'll come back. It's not over yet. Rabbi says it's not over yet, right? But somewhat shver. Okay. So let's talk business here a little bit. Let's talk a little business, and hopefully from the examples that we're going to talk about, things will become clear a little bit. Hopefully they'll come a little bit more clear. That's let's see here. What should we say? Okay, let's give you two more examples from what went on in Shabbos, just so that we can, to open up the dishwasher, right? To open up the dishwasher, you're opening up the door of the dishwasher. Okay, what's that? Why are you allowed to open the door of the dishwasher? Maybe not, I don't know. Why are you allowed to open up the door of the dishwasher? What? So it's tzarich, what's the tzarich? Mekoymai, because it's blocking me to get into the dishwasher. Okay, now I put the stuff in the dishwasher. Why am I allowed to close the door of the dishwasher? What is it? What's it gufay? It's blocking what? Saving the kalim, because otherwise one of the children will go in and smash them. Let's say there's no kids that are going to do that and your wife is normal. What? Sorry? So if you have the dishwasher door there and somebody's going to slip over the door, so then it's called mekoymai. Another thing could be, wait a minute, I don't want the smell that comes down in the dishwasher. So wait 1 second. So then what am I using the door for? No. Gufay, I'm doing it as a shield. I'm doing it as a shield to block the smell. I'm making it smell. Sorry? No. Even without that, everyone agrees. I'm using the door as a shield. The door is a Kli Shemach Eliezer, which I'm using to shield the smell, to block the smell. Kli Shemach Eliezer, sorry, we don't have to come on to Heterim of Rav Shalrei, which we'll see. It's not so posh, because Rav Shalrei might allow me to move the item. We'll have to see all these things. That's okay. We're going to talk. Mitzvah Shem, we'll talk about it. But that's a dishwasher. I'm just saying that's what Misa. Okay, let's see. Car keys. You're allowed to move around car keys on Shabbos. Car keys. Now I spoke about a car the other day. I turned on my car right after the shiur. Who was with me? Somebody was with me right after the shiur when I walked upstairs. No, nobody? I think there was somebody with me. Okay. I guess not here. I turned on my car. There's about 400 different sensors, and like the car is only from like 2009. The car is older than some of you guys. Right? It's 200 sensors go on. There's a little H that goes on. Kineged, I guess Hashem. I don't know whatever. There's 100 sensors that go on. So everything I spoke about the other day, I don't think it's so possible to disable your cars today. And I don't know what. You take what? Take the you mean I'll go to when I go to Meron, I just I'll open up the battery. I never thought of that. Just open up the battery. That's not bad. Okay, fine. So then it is nageh, whatever we spoke about the other day. Okay, fine. Very good. It seems like he slept in your car. Dubi said that. It seems like Dubi slept in his car. Okay. Akophanim. So why is the van different? Oh, really? Yeah, that's how it goes? I don't know. I don't take any advice. But anyways, what about the car key? What's a car key? So this, I don't know why. I don't know. The Minchas Yitzchak in Chelik Ches Simchav Beis, he says that a car key is a Kli Shemach Eliezer. That makes sense, right? Whatever the car is that's right. I mean, car is a Kli Shemach Eliezer. So the car key, it's tough to the car key, right? I could open up the door, you can sit in it. But that we said the other day, that was Rav Moshe Shita. That Rav Moshe held that a car is a Kli Shemach Eliezer, but everybody else held not like that. They held the car as a Kli Shemach Eliezer. So therefore, a car, the key is tuffled to the car, and therefore it's mishamish the car. And it's like a pot lid. Why am I even saying this? Because I saw something strange in the Shmir Shabbos in the 20th parak in the 80th sif over there. He says that a car key, if it opens up the door, sometimes he says you have a car key that only opens up the engine. He says, but if you have a car key that opens up the door also, so then it's a Kli Shemach Eliezer. I don't know why. Why he holds that a car is a Kli Shemach Eliezer. So I'm opening up a chayfetz, which its ikar function is to do an isser. So I have no idea what it means. I don't know. Ayin Sham, not sure. What? Tamua. What? Come again? So what? But he holds that even the sitting in the car, the whole car is tuffled to the. I can hear it because I had it said that a car is a Kli Shemach Eliezer. He doesn't. He holds a car is a Kli Shemach Eliezer. Right? So I can't understand this, and I don't know. What? Sorry? A key that can only unlock the door. But again, he holds that a car, even the sitting in the car, the whole mitzvah of a car, why do you not look at a car as a Kli Shemach Eliezer? All right, you sit in your car, you have an office in the car, right? That's I told my wife today, my back is hurting me. I must have done some other, I don't know, but my back is hurting me. I said, I don't know what's going to be. I need to sit in my car. My car is my office. It only hurts me when I sit. It doesn't hurt me when I stand. So I told her it's like a regular person coming and saying my office is flooded. By me not being able to sit in my car, it means my office has just been ruined, right? So I agree with you that a car is a Kli Shemach Eliezer. The Shmir Shabbos is not like that. He holds his Kli Shemach Eliezer. That means there's no such thing as sitting in a car. Sitting in a car is all tuffled to the purpose of the purpose of the car is one thing, right? I thought of a mashal after this year. Me, Mitzvah Shem, when I get a different car one day, I'm not getting this car again. It's so low down. It's a bad office, right? I much thought of this right after this year. When I'm going to get the next car, Mitzvah Shem, whenever it is, it's for sure not going to be her, right? Because she's low down, I can't deal with it, right? I need a higher office. I need a big like azan, like it does. So I'm going to make the cheshbon of buying my car based on the Shima Shel Heter. I just got afterward that by me a car is basically Shemach Eliezer. I'm not even remember I told you it depends on why you buy it. Half the reason I buy it is that I could sit in it and hang out there and whatever. That's the That's the whatever. I'm not talking about people. Some people have bad shalom bias. They have to make sure it lies down properly. It's a bed, and it's not like a motor home geveinlich, And then each person teach their own, right? But you get my point. Upon him. But anyways, no. But Rabbi, right? You understand? So you can't do that. He's going not like that. So I don't know. Okay, that's now by saying Azay. All right, let's talk business here, and then we'll try. Hopefully, from all my examples, what I want to do at the end. Now that you have the chakira, at the end, hopefully, we'll be able to see from the examples of the Paiskim what target came out. What are we going to do? This kid is still waiting over there with the crayon. I mean, my daughter already tackled him, but we want to know that this is the gaya. The kid takes a crayon. You have to, what do you have to do? You have to put a box over him the whole Shabbos. That you could be arrested. What? He says it's a sakana. Rabbi Herzl says a sakana, right? What? There's also a problem of Seder. If you have the Nazer, there's a problem with Seder Adam and whatever. Sorry? It could be what? He's going to go and eat the crayon? Oh, that's the sakana you're talking about. Now, calluses don't eat crayons. It's not. You mean, but he's not a callus. You're right. That could be a sakana. Okay, so maybe, yeah. Okay, but let's try to work within the realm of not, sakanas. If we can work within Kallus Yisr, that it's a tzarech hadas. Okay, now let's say two more things here. All right. I'm going to cause one more bit of trouble here. Like this. This is a big problem. How much time we have 10 minutes? Yeah. What happened over here? Oh my God! So it's like, all right, we have a few minutes here. Now, let me cause one more bit of trouble, and then Mitzvah. According to Gain Rebbe Mishbura. No, I think it's better like this. I should open you up a little bit, and then by tomorrow we could just go through cases. Listen to Mishbura. This Rabbi Yisai is where you see the Mishbura is unbelievable kayach of the Mishbura. Mishbura Rabbi Yisai was written in like the 1880s. Hundreds of years of Paiskim before the Mishbura. Hundreds of years before. And the Mishbura, is the Mishbura going to bring a raya to Allah from something that he sees in the Gemara? That was the style of Moshe Feinstein. But when Mishbura wrote a sefer, which was much more misudar, it wasn't shuvas. When Mishbura brings a raya here, that for thousands of years, hundreds of years, I guess, right? But nobody brought this raya, which would be a raya that maybe everyone in the world held not like the Mishbura. And the Mishbura wasn't afraid, and he said something here. This is the most earth-shattering chiddush in all 697 siman of the Mishbura. It's earth-shattering. No, because the Mishbura says something here that no one says before him. And he says, and not only am I right, but it's a Mefurish Gemara. So whatever he's going to say, you're going to have to wonder, then why didn't anybody say it? So you're going to have to say, because it's so pashit that, and I'm going to ask you afterward, if it's so pashit, did you know this, right? So Mishbura over here says, and see cutting your base, he says, you're allowed to move a klitsha malachta liyasa tzarek gufa makayim, which again, like tomorrow, we'll see the examples. Mitzvah you need it. But klitsha malachta liyasa, you're allowed to move tzarek gufa makayim. Okay. On the line of tzarek gufa, he's talking about a hammer. I have in front of me a hammer, and I could take the hammer and I could crack open a nut. Right next to my hammer, or maybe not far away, I have a nutcracker. Is there any reason to take the nutcracker over the hammer? Is there any reason to take the nutcracker over the hammer? Hooray! Klisha malachta li'eser is mutar l'tzarek gufa makayim. So the hammer is mutar l'tzarek gufa makayim, right? So is there any reason to take the nutcracker and to go and start cracking the nut? Why would I do that? Why shouldn't I? Yes? Yeah. What? Why would you say yes? Why should I tell you why you for sure shouldn't say yes, right? You for sure. Davnei Nezer says when Chazal made kulas, over here's a kula. Chazal answered a klisha malachta li'eser, okay? Chazal, just one momento. Chazal came along and said a klisha malachta li'eser is aser. The same Chazal came along, chazav etiru, and they said, wait, it's too much. The guys did tshuva. You have to go easy on them. So klisha malachta li'eser is mutter l'tzarech gufay, okay? Tzarech makayim or whatever, okay. But when they said tzarech gufay is mutter, let's first of all go back a year before Nehemiah's takana. Okay, were you allowed to take a hammer indiscriminately and crack open a nut? No shaila in the world. Was there any reason to take a hammer over a nutcracker? It wouldn't be oilal das to even think of such a thing. There's no question in the world. Right? Okay. Then Nehemiah made his gzeira you guys are not being Shem Shabbos. Not you guys. I'm saying you're not being Shem Shabbos. So Nehemiah came along and he said, Kli Shemak L'Yisr. That's it. The end. What happened? They did tshuva. After they did tshuva, Nehemiah came along and said, Chazav V'tiru, until we have the rules of today. What's Chazav V'tiru? Pashtus, says the Avnei Nezer, it's like a hutra. It's not like a tchuya, like you have to get out of it. And if you can avoid it, avoid it. It's mutter. Are you allowed to scratch your head on Shabbos? Yes. Why? Because not usher. Why not? Why? Because it's not usher. So are you allowed to take a hammer on Shabbos and go and crack open a coconut? Why not? It's not usher. Nobody answered it. Elamai Chazal originally answered it. Okay, but Chazav V'tiru, and once they Chazav V'tiru, it's Tzarek Gufa's mother. I would have said, Misvar Pshuta, that there's absolutely no reason in the world to try and avoid the situation of taking a hammer and moving around the hammer. How do I come with such a chutzpah to say such a thing? Because I'm a simple Jew. I read the Shulchan Aruch. I'm a simple Jew. I'm so simple. I never knew that there was muksa before. That's how simple I am. And I come and I read the Shulchan Aruch. Kli Shemak L'Yisr is mutter l'taltalai. Yeah, like why not? Why not? Avada, it's mutter l'taltalai. It doesn't start out in Shulchan Aruch what's aser. It starts out what's mutter. Why not? Yeah, Avada. I don't know anything. I'm a fresh Bal Tshuva, and I'm a Kabbalah on myself that whatever it says in Shulchan Aruch, I'm going to do. So Mamela, I start to read Shulchan Aruch, and I have my English translation. I'm allowed to move around the Kli Shemak L'Yisr. Okay, good. I didn't think I shouldn't move around the hammer. Bein the tzarech gufay. Okay. I'm only going to be allowed to use it to open up a coconut. Ooh, and a kardim lachtek tela. And bein the tzarech mekoyim, I can move the hammer. The hainu tzarech. What can't I do? I can't do mechamel itself. Okay. Would I, in my wildest dreams, reading this Shulchan Aruch, think that I should try to avoid it? Where? What? When? How? What? Okay, but I'm not such a simple Baal Tshuva. I go now and I read the, the Ramah, does the Ramah say try to avoid it? No. Does the Mogen Avram? Mogen Avram doesn't say try to avoid it? No. Does the Taz say try to avoid it? No. Does the Chayodam say try to avoid it? No. Does the Prima Godim try to say it? No. Does who else? Nobody said to try to avoid it. Nobody said try to avoid it. Comes again Rebbe, right? And he says like this. He says, Umayri she'ein likli heter l'tashmish zeh. That I don't have a nutcracker, or not even a nutcracker, kinderlach, or something. Give me an example of a Kli Shemak L'Yisr that you could smash open a nut with, which isn't a nutcracker. Lav dafka nutcracker, right? Any malach L'Yisr. Give me a Kli Shemak L'Yisr. What? A plate. I don't know, a plate, a knife. Okay, it's Myri. It's talking about that you're going to do it with the knife. You're going to smash the table, so that we don't make you do. What? A pot, Kallus, right? A pot. The pot I hold is a Kli Shemak L'Yisr. It's talking about that you don't have a pot. Because if you have a pot, then why are you taking a hammer to break open the nuts? You should be using a pot. Good? Okay. Comes the guy in the Mishabura, der Chedesh. Zug the Mishabura, Umayrish ein like Kliyata l'tashish, Ti'ilav hachi, because Volta Gevein, ein loylish tamesh bekli zeh. Because if you would have a Kli Shemalach that had such a big Chedesh, no? This is the biggest chiddush in the whole Sefer Mishnah Berurah. It's not the biggest Sefer in all of the Chafetz Chaim Svarim, because he has one in Shmir Salashim, which is a very big chiddush. Right? Not allowed to talk Lashon Hara. Right? What?
Maybe the virtual only kicks in once you need it, but if it's not needed, then it's not there.
Who are you? What, you just had a baby? What are you doing over here? What? Why would it only kick in once I had? Who kicking? Were you kicking? What? I read the Shulchan Aruch. Where did he get this in the Shulchan Aruch? And hey, what is the Makor? What's the Makor? Kein Muchach Gemar Shabbos Kufkov Dalid Omid Aleph. What happened to all the friends of the Mishnah Berurah? The whole Sefer, Morgan, Avram, Shulte, everybody here, Prima God, nobody. He came straight from a Gemara. That means everybody else in the world. So you're telling me I have to know this? I got to know this. And I only know this. I didn't read Gemara yet. I'm fresh. Remember, I told you, right? I never even learned the Daf Gemara yet. So how do I know this? So you're telling me no. Maybe the only time that we have the hutra is once there is a tzarech. Chazal, when they come along and they make the kanas, Chazal don't say, when they give a heter, it's only the guy governor. Chazal mattered it. They didn't answer it. How do you know? So what's Taka the Raya of the Rebbe? No, but you understand, I just want you to have a little background over here to understand now you understand who the Mishnah. Rabbi say, for the Mishnah Berurah, when he tells you jump, you say how high. Whatever the Mishnah Berurah says, that's what we do. Don't think that this is a hakdama to be chaylik on the Mishnah Berurah. I saw one sefer. It's a weird thing. Such a weird thing to write. He writes that I can't even say what he said. You want to say it? You'll say it. I'll tell you what he said, and you'll say it. You want to say it? What? The weirdest thing I ever saw. What? No. Troublemaker. No. He says, it's a certain sefer. He writes, if you want to be machmir, I can't even say the words. I'm not going to say it with a microphone. He says, if you want to be machmir like the Mishnah Berurah, you're not min hamatzmiyim, but avada, you don't have to be. But yes, you do. Because you have to be machmir like the Mishnah Berurah. You also have to be machmir like the Mishnah Berurah. Talmud also has to be machmir like the Mishnah Berurah. Everybody has to be machmir like the Mishnah Berurah. What's he talking about? How can you say you don't have to be machmir like the Mishnah Berurah? If the Mishnah Berurah would write, whatever the Mishnah Berurah says, that's what we do. What is he talking about? Huh? I guess you have to be mechalik. He's asking, then why? Whatever do I need? Why can't I just smash it on the floor or smash my foot? I guess the pshat is, it's got to be somewhat within the realm of normal. It can't be that it's going to make a mess all over the floor. I guess it has to be, I'll get the same usage, the same result. Dav zayin normal. He says normal. Dav zayin normal. Right? You know? So, but derech hagav, and this is where we'll stop. So what was now I'm getting emotional because it's a big chiddush. Such a big chiddush. But Rabbi say, what's the raya of the Chafetz Chaim? Now I'm mamish going to cause trouble. You want to hear one last bit of trouble? What's the raya of the Chafetz Chaim? You think if he's saying such a chiddush, he has to have such a gevaldik raya, as you can't move, you can't even budge, right? Because if he's saying such a chiddush, you can't even budge properly, right? If you have a chiddush that no one in the world ever said until the Heilige Chafetz Chaim, then it's got to be such an unbelievable raya that, it's his raya is like this. It's a gevaldik raya. The Gemara, when it talks about Kli Shemach L'Yisr, talks about a person that comes with Korban Pesach. He comes with Korban Pesach on Shabbos. What is it? When you have the Korban Pesach, what do you have to do? You have to be mafshit the skin. You have to take off the skin from this Korban Pesach. Okay. So how are you going to take off the skin from the Korban Pesach? You know what's going on in the base of Mikdash? It was a Yehuda. There wasn't room for anything over there. So what do? So what you have to do normally during the week is you take a stecken, you take a stick, you put it from your shoulder to Rabbi Hirsch, we have a social distance over here. You take it from my shoulder to your shoulder, and then we put this sheep, we put it in between us, and then it's on my shoulder, it's on your shoulder, and we start to skin it. We skin it down, and we take off all the skin. Okay? So the Gemara, listen to this Amaisa. So the Gemara, when Pesach, Erev Pesach, then when the Korban, Erev Pesach is Chal on Shabbos, so now the sticks, listen closely, the sticks are a Kli Shemalachtoi Leheter. Now, we're going to see in Mitzvah Shem, it's not like you think, Kli Shemalachtoi Leheter, you can do whatever you want with. Even Kli Shemalachtoi Leheter has its rules. It's a lot more, giving. The rules are a lot more liberal. We're going to be a lot more friendly about the movement of a Kli Shemalachtoi Leheter. But even a Kli Shemalachtoi Leheter has its rules. So we say like this, don't take a stick. That's all Sif Dalid. We're going to see in what's a pshat the minig oilam that nobody knows this. We're going to talk about this in Mitzvah Shem. But what do? You take a stick, you put it from myself to Rabbi Yershov, and you start skinning it. That's what you do on a regular weekday. But when Erev Pesach is Chal b'Shabbos, so what do? Don't take a stick. Don't take a stick. Take your arm, put it on Rabbi Yershov, or a different Rabbi Yershov, but anybody who's near you, you put it on. Then you take this sheep. How much does a sheep weigh? Anyone know? It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm saying it's a lot. I'm going to say it's not going to be so easy. It's not going to be so easy. You pick this huge shawarma, right? You put this shawarma between us and you skin the shawarma, right? You ever see that Arab? You ever see Yamach over there, Shmai? And you see the whole thing over there? That's just like, ich mein the boich. That's not even the cup, nicht mit der Fies, nicht mit der ganze, And there he is like this, but you have to skin it down, okay? That's what it says. Why? Listen to Mishnah Berurah. Muchak in Kufchav Dalid. Maklois efshik Rab Lazar. You can do like Rab Lazar. He says, Sham et Kli Shemalachtoi Leheter. Afilu achi aser. You're not allowed to take the sheep and put it on a stick between me and Rabbi Hirschhoff. What do you have to do? You have to take your arm instead. Why do you have to take your arm instead? Says the Mishnah Berurah, listen. Because if a Kli Shemalachtoi Leheter, which is much more liberal, we're much more moving. But if you have an option of not using a Kli Shemalachtoi Leheter, we tell you don't use a Kli Shemalachtoi Leheter. Instead, use what? Use your hand. Why? Because why should you come on to the heter, which Chazal had to matir, Kli Shemalachtoi Leheter, Chazal had to matir. Batsim in the time in the Chem was all aser. Chazar and Tira, and they gave you certain kulas. So why in the world should you go and get the kula, do something that has no kula at all? Says the Mishabura, Kal v'chaymer, culture came from the Mishabura. This is echad from the Asara Kal v'chaymers of the Chafetz Chaim. Kal v'chaymer, says the Mishabura. He says, if I'm telling you that when you have a Kli Shemalachta the heter, you have to avoid it, which Kli Shemalachta the heter we know is much more liberal. We're much more forgiving when it comes to Kli Shemalachta. And if that you have to avoid and try to use your hand and not get involved in the parsha of moving a Kli Shemalachta the heter. So Kal v'chaymer, when it comes to Kli Shemalachta the Isser, which we're not so friendly with, and we only allow you to move it circle from a koimai. If you could avoid using it, and you could use instead of Kli Shemalachta the heter, then you should use the Kli Shemalachta the heter. Ad kan the Mishabura, it's like the Mishabura, pashit. Kol shekain, Kli Shemalachta the Isser. Ad kan is the Mishabura? No. So what's the kasha on the Mishabura? That's the Mishabura, right? So this Mishabura is unbelievable pella. Manshan plin is gava. As a plin is gava. What's the pella on the Mishabura? Maybe there's a big chilek. Maybe a Kli Shemalachta le'Isser, and my choice of using a Kli Shemalachta le'Isser or Kli Shemalachta le'Heter, Harei Benkach, I'm going to have to use a Kli. Benkach, I'm going to have to use a Kli. And a Kli Shemalachta le'Heter, we're seeing has a certain aspect that it was aser. And Chazal had to come along and to be matir. So what am I going to gain by using a Kli Shemalachta le'Heter? I'm going to have to use something, which anyways, I have to come onto a heter. What was the Gemara talking about? The Gemara was talking about there was a Kli Shemalachta le'Heter, and we're saying don't use the Kli Shemalachta le'Heter. Why? Use your hand instead, which doesn't require any heter. So what's the kol sheken? What's the kol sheken in the Chafetz Chaim? What's the kol sheken? Maybe when it comes to a Kli Shemalachta le'Heter, I'll tell you, there, if I have a choice of a Kli Shemalachta le'Heter or using my hand, and then I don't have to come onto any kulas. So then why come onto any kulas? But Mashenke, when it comes to Kli Shemalachta le'Isser, I'm going to tell you what, use the Kli Shemalachta le'Heter, not the Yisser. Why not? Anyways, I have to come onto it. At Kama, you're telling me it's not Hutra. You're telling me I have to come onto a Terim. So if I have to come onto a Terim, what's the difference if I come onto a Terim and Kli Shemalachta le'Isser? If I come onto a Terim and Kli Shemalachta le'Isser and Heter, that's a very big kasha in the Chafetz Chaim. Whoever has an answer to this question, I'll give him 50 shekel. 100. Yeah. If you get it wrong, I get 1,000. Yeah. Right. Where's the real muksa? Where's the real muksa? What are you doing to me? What did I do to you? What are you doing to me? What did I do to you? I did something wrong to you. What did I do to you? I give you nothing but life. What did I do to you? What did I do to you? That's not the answer. What's the difference between what? You have difference? Yeah, what's that? Less of a darga. What do we mean less of a darga? Do I have to come on to a heter by Kli Shemalachta le'Heter? So then if what? By an arm, do I have to come on to a heter? No. So then what's the kol shekain? It's anti-Semite. What? I've never been so upset in my whole life. What? Using your hand is a bigger difference. An arm is extreme. Oh, what? Using your hand is a bigger difference. How do you think about it? I don't have to. My job is over. We'll continue tomorrow. I don't have to talk to you. Whoever I see these new faces here, whoever doesn't have a chavrusa or does have a chavrusa or anything, should just come to me because they're.
I'll make sure I have the question straight.
Give me 1 second.
Why do I have to come on to a heter by Kli Shemalachta le'Heter?
Just give me a second.